Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey, you guys. I honestly could tell you guys that now. So many opportunities, so many things are happening in this present day that I want you guys to continue to take advantage of. Continue to attack these goals. Continue to show out, continue to show up, and believe in yourself. I say that because, sometimes I don't do this podcast, but it's not because I don't really do this podcast on a daily basis. It's because I'm really trying to shape my reality into what I'm telling you guys this podcast and what I want my life to be. And that's pretty much successful, independent, and free. You get me? And at one point, I wasn't feeling like I was worthy of these things. You get me? But now I feel like at this present time, I'm worthy of these things. And I'm going to give you guys the whole rundown on why I tell you guys why this is now a transition for me and why you got to sometimes just disregard that imposter syndrome that people try to impose on us. So this podcast is going to be called Imposter Syndrome because we fall victim to so many people like labeling us and telling us who we are as a person, and we never really get an opportunity to really voice our opinion to the outside world, or we never really be the person we end up wanting to be. Like in our mind, we have this this different persona of who we are, and our friends and family and lovers are only getting what we showing them, but they don't really know us, and we can't really show up as a person because our whole life we've been labeled as, oh, you're just a dancer, or all you can do is just cook. Oh, you'll be a great doctor, but Stephanie knows how to draw. Stephanie knows how to play tennis. Stephanie knows how to hoop. But she don't want to do this all her life. She don't want to just feel like she's obligated to be a doctor. She's obligated to be a teacher. And I feel like what happens is once you're being taught something your whole life, it's sometimes hard to embrace the new change, because you only knew one thing for so long that became your reality. You know how some people are like, oh, all I already knew was being a mother and having kids. Like I didn't really know nothing about like going out and stuff like that. Like some people reality are just what they conform into. And that's not bad or nothing like that. It just means sometimes people aren't exposed to many things coming up. And therefore, when they are put in a position to finally show up as the person they want to show up as, they don't feel worthy as that person. Like I spoke to a friend of mine, and they was like, how do you do real estate? Like, how do you do these things without, feeling like you're going to fuck up or anything? And I said, I don't. I said, I felt like I knew this my whole life because I put the work into it. I put the training into it. I put the craft. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it. Literally like blood when I cut myself moving furniture and all this other bullshit, like this real life, like real shit, sweat, moving furniture and tears. Like sometimes I fall like when I ain't get no deals. Like I ran on a 8-month dry deal spell. Like I ain't had no deals, no money coming in. And I had to work on other things. Luckily trucking came in advance, but it just comes at different moments in your life where you got to be prepared for different things. But you can't lose the vision. You can't lose sight of what was going on in your life, because when I speak to people about real estate, they see me as a 25-year-old guy, right? They may see people on Instagram, quote unquote, doing millions of dollars in real estate, but they don't own the real estate. We own our real estate. I own my real estate. You get me? So when I tell people I know what I'm doing, I'm just not putting myself out there as much because I don't really have to. I don't feel like that. Once I come into contact with certain people, I feel like we cross paths for a reason. I don't have to be feeling like what I'm saying is false because I already did it multiple times. It's no longer a hypothesis. Oh, can I do this? No, it's okay. If I do this and this and that, how much am I going to make now? How much deals can I get out the year? And that's pretty much what it is. It's nothing really telling people you're not worthy of that, because you have to feel like you're an imposter. You have to feel like you're an imposter a little bit because you're showing up as this new identity. And then you have to fit that identity. It's just like being an actor. You act so long, you become that person. So you have to act as if already. You have to behave in that manner. You have to subdue your subconscious and those type of things, because if you're constantly around people who's telling you, they laughing at you, you can't really do this and this and that, your subconscious is only going to know what they're saying. You get me? And what I really tell people all the time is that we kind of work on different things in our life that we have to be proud of. because a lot of us could look back at 2016 and 2019 and 2017 back years, and we're totally different people now. Some of us have families, some of us have high-paying jobs, some of us are still living with parents, some of us are out of college, some of us are still in college. Everybody's doing something, so everybody's at different stages in their life. You get me? It's like everybody's at different stages. I lived with my parents at one point. Now I'm on my own. And then eventually I'm going to have my own family. But somebody already has a family right now. You get me? But they're already acting as if, because someone who's preparing to be a family and having a family, they're already preparing for that baby to come in, hopefully, the right way, if you guys are doing it the right way. Stable household, good income coming in, loving parents and stuff like that, already preparing, acting as if, because this is the person you have to show your young one. And as well as if you're becoming someone who's going to teach a crowd of 10,000 people and 70 to 80% of those people are older than you, now you're teaching people who may look at you like, okay, let's see what he got to say. Or let me see what she got to say. You get me? And people may just feel intimidated, not by the crowd or anything, because they may like, how could I teach someone who's older than me? But the way I look at it is, when that person was my age, the opportunities, the resources, the information, it wasn't out there at the time. That's why a lot of people who's a lot older in like the 70s and the baby boomers, they'll tell you, when we had phones, it wasn't no Instagram, it wasn't no technology, it wasn't fast paced like that. AOL was one of those things where people had, all that. It wasn't really fast paced. The information wasn't out there. The resources were just being gathered. Things were just being organized. So that was like the starting point of the real estate, the housing crash and everything right there. Didn't even come yet. So a lot of people didn't even get a chance to see what real estate could have been about, because obviously they probably, at the time, no resources, things were limited. So everybody really was just striving to be who they needed to be. And, we have to understand, like, you're put in the position for a reason, because if you're able to get on the podium and speak in front of 10,000 people, which I aspire to do, which I'm going to do one day, which I'm going to manifest into this podcast, it's only going to happen. And when it does happen, you can't just be afraid. You know who's afraid to shoot? D'Angelo Russell. You know who was also afraid to shoot? Ben Simmons. Those two guys, they're practice shooters. Guys who come, they look good on TV. It's just like, let's just say a fake guru, right? Look good, great pictures. Okay, you can make $1 million in a year in real estate, which is true. Yeah, you could become a millionaire within 2 years in real estate, which is true. Yeah, all these things he's saying is true, right? But does he know the information? Does he know the knowledge? He's an imposter, not without the syndrome. Real deal imposter, because you're going to meet this person in person, right? And he may just know the information so well he's able to sell you it. But does he understand the depth of it? Does he understand the ratio? Does he understand the ROI? Does he understand like the interest rates? Do he understand talking to mortgage lenders and understanding how you can negotiate points off your loan? Does he understand about hard money? Does he understand about ARVs? Do he understand about fixing and flipping and keeping the house and putting it on Section 8 and having all these government assistance? Can he give you this knowledge? He may not be able to give you that knowledge, and therefore you could label him as an imposter, because he's only giving you what you want to hear. But once you are, like I said, once you are knowledgeable about the information, it's going to come harder for people to trust you, because you're not putting yourself out there, because you're actually putting the groundwork in. You're actually putting the work in behind closed doors. When people are not paying attention to you, you're still studying your notepad. You don't need people to look at you 24/7 to see that if you're really doing it. Because if you're passionate about something, you're going to do it regardless. And if you really are passionate, you're going to learn everything about it. So I try to tell you guys all the time, it's not about who's looking the best. It's about who believes in themselves at the end of the day. And we have to understand, like, a lot of people, we come across people who are doing really well in life, and we ask them, what's the biggest thing that that allowed you to attain this amount of success? And they say they took a risk. And the risk is believing themselves, because a lot of people may not have that audacity to say, I could do this. No, I am this person. I am that dude. I am that goat. Some people are like, boy, you better shut up. You ain't no goat. But I walk around and I call myself a goat. I told one of my homeboys the other day, listen, when I call, I need you to say bad, like for real. You feel me? When I pick up the phone, I need you to say bad, like a fucking goat to me, because at this point in my life, I understand who I am as a person, and I'm embracing that character. I'm embracing the identity. And I want you guys to do the same thing. If you're a hairstylist, be the best hairstylist. Atlanta's #1 hairstylist and braider. People gonna be like, who the hell fuck, who the hell think she is? Shit, she about to show you the work, because she understood that she waited, she stood up 8, 10, 13, 14 hours, 5, 6 days a week straight, with no break, doing people hair, pinching herself, hurting her arm. She got arthritis, her fingers cracking all damn day. She didn't even get a chance to really celebrate her birthday because she running it up. That's the woman right there who can really embrace that new title, and that could put herself out there and say, listen, I did everything. I went through little kids' hair. I went through middle school's hair. I went through grown women hair. I went through damaged hair. I did perms. I did locks. She did everything all about hair. She's able to say that about herself because when it's time for her to really show out her work, her portfolio is going to show that to people. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is just show up as that person, but you're only going to have imposter syndrome if you feel like you're not ready for it. But that's the whole point of it. Your mind is trying to bring you back to like ordinary and normal, because this whole new identity is a crisis to it. It has to identify itself. It has to really understand, okay, cool, this is the shift we're doing. All right, bet, I'm going to shift it. But the minute you telling me you don't really know, are you having identity crisis? That's what your brain going to tell you. So embrace it, man. Don't be out here saying you one thing and you still reneging on your identity. Don't say you out here gonna be the best doctor and you out here fucking off. Don't say you out here knowing the information when somebody really asks you, you don't know it, because now you make yourself look 10 times bad. Now they're really not gonna trust you. So what I try to tell people is try to work better at conveying a message. Let people know your testimony. Let people know where you come from. If you guys listen to my podcast, I told you guys all the time, I'm not perfect, but I am transparent. And I'm one of those people that if you come around me, from the bottom of your heart, Moise is going to tell you what it is. I don't really care if it's going to hurt your feelings. I don't really care if it's going to make you happy. I got to tell you what it is, because a lot of people are covering people's emotions. And I feel like I push my friends to be the best version of themselves. It's just like if I'm playing basketball, I'm like, bro, you're better than him. Blow past him. Like, what are you doing? Shoot over him, bro. Like, bro, like, the people on the crowd saying, like, he can't shoot, and I'm not going to shoot, bro, because I don't want them dudes, like, keep laughing. Bro, if you don't do the same, I don't care if you miss 10 in a row. I know you're going to start hitting them. You just need to hit one, you feel me? But don't be out here jacking up dumb shots. Like, play your game. Play what you know. Once you do that, once you identify yourself, once you understand yourself, there is no imposter syndrome. That is something you're just going to be like, that word don't ever exist. Because I showed up as a real estate investor and developer for so many years before I even owned a piece of key, owned a piece of land. I'm here doing it now. It sounds crazy, but I manifested it. I showed up as myself. I showed up as that person I want to show up as. I'm being that person in the moment. As you guys hear me now, I'm mentoring others. I'm teaching others the game. It's not because I want to be this person. It's because I showed up as this person a long time ago. I eventually became this person. This is me as a person. This is what my higher self wanted me to be. And I have another set of stairs that I want to go ahead and tack on and walk up to embrace that new identity and change. So once again, you guys, appreciate your blessings. There's no identity, like there's not imposter syndrome if you really did your study, if you really understand your notes. There is you being a little bit nervous. That could be the word you want to use. But imposter syndrome, nah, you guys got to figure out. I believe you guys have it figured out, because if you're paying your bills, if you have money coming in from doing some set of skills, or if you have a knowledge that people are willing to ask you about every time, embrace it. So once again, man, I appreciate you guys for listening to Roll the Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey. You guys be sure to check out the other episodes as well. Shout out to everybody in the mentee program. We had 2 new closings this past month. So that's a great thing for my mentees to go ahead and get their first property in and do a bird method, you guys. So be sure to tap in, follow me, billionaire_Moise on Instagram, share, review with this podcast with others who want to possibly, get into real estate or even want to learn about entrepreneurship and business. I'm someone who's very open. I'm someone who's very caring in this side of realm of things of business. And I really enjoy just helping others and teaching others. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Roll the Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey. Check you guys out soon.